Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Shalini. Really excited to be here with you today and to talk about some of the newest tools that are available on the Peel Halton Workforce Development Group's website. As Shalini mentioned, there are two tools that we're going to be demonstrating today for our service provider friends in our communities, and we're really excited to be sharing them with you. First, I'm going to just orient you to the Peel Halton Workforce Development Group's website, and you'll know there's a Peel Halton Workforce Hub drop-down menu. The first tool we're going to start on today is the Labor Market Insights Report. It was just freshly added. It's a brand new tool. We're really excited about people getting to use this data. And so I'm going to show you today how that works. First of all, there's a month picker. So it is real time. So you could already draw a report for the month of June. There's already 1,500 new posts in 2 days in Peel and Halton region since June 1st. But you can also pick, a complete month like May, rerun the report and sort of get all the labor market data and statistics for that. But first, let me orient you to some of the filters and some of these buttons to give you complete control over what it is you're looking at. So there's two modes to this report. There's the job demand mode, which is job posts and sort of like hiring recruitment activity. And then there's job search, which is going to be job seeker interactions on the websites with posts and companies and filters and clicks. And why that's important is because what people are clicking on is, of course, interesting to us as service providers, because we want to help them find things that align with their career interests and things that are of interest to them. So again, we have two sides of the coin, both supply and demand here, and you can run sort of like instant reports with data sets. The first filter I'll show you, there are 9, I think, in total, because there are some down here under the show advanced settings, but the more common ones are up top. First of all, you can choose to show a report showing active posts or just new posts. So a new post in the month of May would be posted originally for the first time between May 1st and May 30th or 31st. Whereas an active post in the month of May is any job post that is still open for at least 1 day in the month of May and was taking applicants. So this, obviously, a post could have started in the prior month in April, been active for 2 or 3 weeks and spilled over into May, in which case it would be active in the first month it was posted and active in May in this case. Whereas if you wanted to just focus on new posts, ones that were originally posted beginning May 1st, you could pick that. So that's that filter. There are a lot of different region type filters here. We've tried to make these especially helpful to different audiences. So under the region dropdown, there's a sub dropdown here where you can, of course, pick a particular custom area. So in this case, I could run a whole report for just Halton region, or I could be even more specific and, run a report for a community like Bolton instantly on this tool. You can also group communities together. So if you wanted to run a custom report for a group of communities, but leave certain ones out for whatever reason, like rural communities only, you could do that too. You can also run an entire report on a certain occupation. So let's say you were interested in carpenter or something like that. You can pick, do an entire report for whatever geography you want, of course, just focused on one occupation or even a group of occupation. Maybe you wanted to include the carpenter supervisors or contractors. You could run a custom report with more than one of these filters applied. So again, great sort of flexibility here. And of course, same thing goes for sectors. There are 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6-digit sectors here. So, you could run a custom report for, say, for example, the 4-digit pharmaceutical sector, and see exactly what sort of the hiring activity is here. So, and again, there are more filters down here. lots more. I'll let you explore them, but I always like to give one example. You could run an entire report on jobs that look for AutoCAD, for example. So lots of flexibility here with the data. You can even run a whole report on a specific language in the data set. So again, for those who are familiar with the Peel Halton Workforce Hub tools, you'll know this is pulling in job postings from dozens and dozens of websites across Ontario. It's about 300 where we're pulling in job posts up to as often as every hour into a data set, and we are aggregating, deduplicating, and trying to classify and structure that data so that it can be useful to job seekers, to employment service providers, to educators, to trainers, to municipal or economic development officials, et cetera. We really want to make the collection and dissemination of labor market as close to real time as possible. I've hit this button to hide it because once you've sort of set your filters, you can actually press this arrow and hide it and just get on with it. So I'll show you the May 2023 report for Peel and Halton. Please know you can pick Oakville, you can pick Burlington, you can look at welders in Burlington. There's all sorts of different ways you can slice and dice this. There is 9 different sections in this report, and each section has its own quick scroll. So if you're looking at, who are the top, where are the top locations for these jobs, you can click that and it will quick scroll down to the right part of the screen that has that information for you. Of course, the snapshot section here is a quick overview, high-level statistics on the report and the composition of the job posts that you've isolated. It looks like I still have some, yeah. So I'm just want to get back to that 39,000 number. You can go through these different sections of the report. So I'm going to just start by going to occupations first. Of course, you see a table here of top 5 4-digit occupations. Maybe you want to show more, no problem. You can make the table up to 30 rows. You can paginate through these results and see what it is you're looking for. You can also view by the 2 or the 3-digit occupation. And yes, we are working towards the 2021 NOC code standard as well. So ideally, you'll be able to go through both depending on what you're most familiar and comfortable with. There's a section in this report on skills and experience. And so within here, again, you can quick scroll to exactly what you're looking for by clicking on any of these top links here, and it will fast scroll to the area of the page. But this is where we show the frequency of which, certain keywords or experience or education is happening in job posts. And we're being very transparent about, the fact that the vast majority of jobs today are not requiring, don't specifically mention experience or don't even specifically mention education anymore. It's a lot less popular than it used to be. There are key job requirements that we like to just pull out and show folks, because they are sort of a lot of the top of mind skills that come with job search. And you can look at the different skill levels, and you can even dig into this knowledge, skill, tool, and technology tree. So the frequency is the amount of times a keyword was found in a post. So don't confuse that with the number of job posts. So for example, within skills, there are these 5 different categories of skills. And within, say, analytical skills, there are these subcategories of analytical skills. If you keep drilling down, this is where eventually you'll see the sublisting of the words that are actually used in employer postings that we feel like is best categorized in these areas. So if you're ever looking for, this kind of information, just know you can drill down and sort of get this. So what are the key business knowledge areas that employers are looking for? Well, within the accounting field, it's this sort of terminology that's often in postings. And again, the frequency is just the number of unique times those words were found in the postings for the criteria you set for the whole report. So lots of great information there. You can go through at your leisure. There's a section on wage and benefits. Because it's a 1-month report, we didn't put a whole lot of information in this section for the public, but please know you can reach out to Peel Halton Workforce Development Group. They can give you like a 12-month wage report section on the report, again, custom to what you're looking for. It's just in 1 month, offered wages can be sort of all over the board with just a small sample size, of course, and some occupations looking for more experienced, or and some looking for more junior roles. So it can be all over the board unless you take like a really big snapshot. But there are some information here, job posts that we're not advertising any specific benefits. We're trying to pick up when employers advertise benefits, and we're also trying to pick up hourly or weekly, monthly, daily sort of wage and salary information out of posts. And again, almost 3/4 of these posts don't actually contain any information about this, which you're not probably surprised by. There's a section here on sectors. Again, you could run the report for anything. You could choose Oakville, Burlington. You could, pick a particular occupation or sector. And of course, the rest of these pages all reflect what it is you ran the report on. But in Peel and Halton, these would be the top sectors overall. When you combine the data set, it's probably not surprising to most of you. This category, of course, includes employment agencies and service providers like yourselves are included in this, because it's not often that the employers disclose. So the job postings sort of get associated with the agency who's posting it. Down here is where you can actually drill into the posting count by 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6-digit sector. So you can have a lot of fun here, just sort of like drilling down and seeing sort of like where the volume is in the various industry codes, and just sort of sleuth your way through this data set. So just enjoy this. It's again, great live data for you. There's an employer section. So if you wanted to know like who was behind, that sector data set, you could filter the whole report to a particular sector. Let me show you what I mean. So pharmaceutical, I'll just pick this 4-digit sector. And you can see how the employers in this sector change now. So now we've got, those relevant employers, specific to the search that I was trying to do. And there was no agencies, obviously, that's got that NAIC code. But if you were to take that out and rerun it, you would see here, we do separate sort of job boards and agencies who post on behalf of others in a separate list, so that it's not in the same list with direct employers. So you can see both sets of data, which is great. And of course, you can add table rows and paginate through this and find that information. Under the location section, you can, again, we've created 2 different tables, one for the region level, which is obviously a composition of some of these cities and municipalities together. So we didn't want to put them in the same list. So you have Peel and Halton region up here on its own, and you have the municipalities in this list underneath. So you can see that. And then there's a language tab too, where even though you've filtered the whole report to all jobs, we will show you a subset of jobs that had language either as an asset or a requirement in postings, and you can see what those tend to look like here. But if there's anything in particular you wanted to do, you could run the whole report on French or Punjabi or whatever it is you wanted to take a look at. The last 2 areas of this report that I'll focus on quickly is trends tab, which is a little different than the other sections. So again, keep in mind, we wanted to show you the May 2023 results. In the trends tab, you can go back the last 3, 6, or 12 months and get some comparisons done, some quick data analysis on sort of what's happening. So here you can see what's happening in the whole labor market on a month-to-month basis for the last 12 months overall. And if you were to change, to a certain sector or a certain, community, you would see how that data set down here would dynamically change. So you can put in as many filters as you want, and now you can see sort of the data, the way that you wanted to show it. So if I keep scrolling down, you'll see here growing sectors. So what this means is when we're looking at, and I've got it set to the last 6 months, when we're looking at data over the last 6 months, so it would be in the current 6-month period, there were, say, for example, 17 postings in Burlington under this sector. And that compares to the previous 6-month period that had 9. And so overall, there were 4 different 2-digit sectors that experienced growth in that 6-month comparison window. And of course, if you scroll down, you'll see the ones that had declined. And if I were to, just take out Burlington, you'll see how that sort of dynamically changes. Again, to include a broader data set in this case. So there has been decline recently. You saw that in the numbers here. Like if I go back 12 months, there's been a lot of decline lately since we thrashed out of the pandemic. So not surprisingly, there's a lot of declining figures here in posting and advertising these jobs. So again, just some quick analysis to make your life a little bit easier so you don't have to go back, 6 months, 12 months and flip between different screens and views. It's all going to be there, hopefully doing some quick analysis. There's also a new section in this report where you can do a quick comparison. You can pick any sub-region. I didn't get into this at the beginning. I probably should have, but you can pick, for example, the Ontario Local Health Integration Network sub-regions. And you could pick, a particular sub-region that interests you. Again, there's and you compare different types of regions to each other too. So Bolton, Caledon to Bramalea. You can also, you'll see here, there's like Northwest Mississauga, because depending on the user of this, they may want different catchments or different boundaries for their own purposes to do that sort of comparison. So we built in a lot of different ways that people can access this information and use it. So now you can do like a Peel Halton comparison, you can do a Burlington Oakville comparison, whatever you want. The data is side by side. You can sort of see the top level numbers in performance. Down here, you'll note these become percentages. So 6% of postings were transport truck drivers in Peel versus over here, the number one occupation or density, the density of the occupation was retail salesperson. It was at 7. So because the numbers between communities can obviously differ. So we chose to use some percentages here when we were comparing. But just keep in mind, just, read with intent as to what you're looking at. There's also this whole other job search mode where you can just look at sort of like what people are clicking on, what they're interested in, how they, self-identify, whether it's their age, their gender, etc. Like if they're using filters, what occupations they're clicking on, and you can see that as a overall numbers, or you can go into and look at trends to see how that behavior is changing over time, or just interactions on very specific tools, see what this tool is not running on here. So you can check all of those things out. Now, one amazing thing about this tool is once you've set, let's say you were going to do a custom like Burlington report, you hit your update. There was something really interesting here with the top employers in Burlington. You want to share that with your friend. When you hit share, what you do is it ends up copying this URL up here. When you send that to a colleague, a friend, associate, and they open that, the whole report will open in the way that you've left it. So the page you're on, the filters you've applied, so you can actually show somebody exactly what you're referring to just by sharing the page that you're on, and it will open up for them conveniently. There's also a print button here. So this will generate a PDF of the report that you made with all the sections and all the pages. So, you want to make sure your table lengths are whatever size, and you've got whatever regional comparison you want in there, and the trend, number set to whatever you want. But once you've got it set to what you want, it will create a sort of a print friendly format for you. And if you hit it again, you can save it as a PDF, and you'll be able to download this and keep a copy of it that you could, of course, email or publish or share or whatever, but just trying to make this data more readily available to you. So if there's too many pages in that report, just edit the PDF, pull out the pages that you don't care for, and you've got the rest of the report there for you. So that is our new labor market insights report. And with everyone's indulgence, I will switch over to the new MyHub job seeker account. Unless there are questions, feel free to just type them away and I'll keep going. So the MyHub job seekers account, we know job search is a daunting experience. It is a lot of work. There are jobs posted in a lot of different websites. There are duplicate postings, but you know what? Every website has its own unique postings. Now in some websites, there's a lot of unique postings, and other websites, there's a few, but we wanted to make job search a little bit easier. So of course, a year and a half or 2 years ago, we launched the job tools on Peel Halton Workforce Development Group's website. They aggregate these jobs, they put them in sort of easier interfaces for users job seekers to search and find. Of course, job board is great. It shows you a snippet of the job. You can search, find whatever job you want. The downside to this is every time you come back to this page, you're having to redo your search over and over again, and potentially look at postings you've already seen. And so we thought we could do better. We thought if people were willing to create an account, a free account for job seekers, that they could start organizing their job search more effectively. They could never have to look at the same posting twice. They could and they could build a personalized job board that's specific to the things that they're interested in. So I'm going to walk you through the registration process. There's a link over here called register, or over here, register for a free account today. And just to remind you, we are in this dropdown on the MyHub dropdown here. So we're going to go ahead and create an account. Now, earlier today, I did a demo on the employer account. It's an employer LMI account. It is not an employer account where they can post jobs. But today I'm going to focus on, with you, the job seeker account and what that experience is like. You can have more than one account in the system. Just use different email addresses to keep them separate, and then we'll know what you'll be looking for when you log in. So I'm a job seeker. There are a couple different fields here that we're asking for, all with good reason, but of course it can be overwhelming. The only fields that are truly required are these red star asterisk fields. There's about 5 of them. And so those are the ones we definitely need. These other ones are helpful for us. They help personalize the tools. So hopefully people will share that information with us. Down here, they can individuals can indicate if they're employed or not, unemployed, and if they're interested in apprenticeships, or if they are an apprentice, they can indicate those things. This particular area is very helpful if people are willing to put it in. So if someone was a bartender in their past life, they could indicate that. Maybe they were a food and bev server. Maybe they were also an admin assistant. This will take, just common job titles. You could type in just common job titles here, and it will shortlist the right knock code for somebody. So don't worry, no one has to be an expert in knock codes. It will just gradually shortlist the choices if you just keep typing job titles in here. So here I put in some past, fake examples of jobs I've held. Now this is where you can put in the job maybe you most recently held, or the job that sort of interests you. I'm going to, just for today's example, just choose medical administrative assistant. So, was doing admin assistant previously. Maybe I want to, work in a dental or doctor's office next. So I'm going to put in medical administrative assistant just to show you what that's like. We also have a free weekly or daily email, depending on how intense your job search is. And again, this will be a personalized email to you for the jobs that interest you. And it would be based on a lot of these occupations here, but you can go in and fine tune that even after you get started. So you would click that if you wanted to opt in, click, that you accept the terms and conditions. Of course, you can read them here by clicking this link, and you would indicate you're not a robot. And at that point, we would be happy to let you through. So again, There's a couple fields here that are required. Everything else is optional. By filling in some of this additional information, it will help pre-populate some of the account and get people off to a good start. So if they're willing to share it, that's great. I've already created an account, so I'm just going to log in on that account that I've created. But basically, once I hit that register, I'm going to be introduced to a screen like this, where it's starting to show me some things. So maybe there's more profile details I could put in. Maybe there's some more skills I want to put in. I've already started to get a snippet of the job feed that's personalized to me because I was looking for medical administrative assistant roles. So now it's like starting to come in. If I've been in before, which I have, I've already saved a couple jobs. You can indicate sort of where you are in the process with those jobs. And you can see companies that are specific to you, but or that are hiring for an occupation that you're interested in. So first of all, a couple things you can optimize. You can go into the following section and you can readjust anything here, occupations you want to follow. So much like Twitter, if you're a welder, follow the welders. If you're a carpenter, follow that. If you're a doctor, follow that. Like, you want to follow things that are of interest to you. If you're a laborer, there's lots of different laborer codes you could be following, in different sectors, material handler, forklift. And again, it's all going to be based on common job titles. So even though forklift isn't in any NOC code name, it is a common job title under some of these occupation codes. So you would just pick the one that is the best representative of your past role, and you could follow that. If there's companies that maybe your friends, your family members, your acquaintances worked at that you love, that you hear great things about, you would love to get your foot in the door there, you can follow a company and never miss a job posting from that company. So by following that company, you will get every job that company offers, whether that's like cleaner to president or CEO. Anytime they post a job, it will be in your job feed if you follow the company. So again, you could just type anything. So if there was a particular dental office that I wanted to follow in this example, I could choose to follow that company. And if they had any active postings, I would be able to see that in my job feed. There's also a sector. So maybe you don't want to go through and write down all the dental offices. So you could just, if you wanted to, if it made sense for you, follow Office of the Dentist, and you would get every job from any company that's associated with dentists in the area. So, and again, depending on the work that you do and the job that you're interested in, it may make sense to just follow an occupation, or in some cases, it may make sense just to follow a certain sector. You do not have to follow one in each. It's just an example that I was showing you. But please know you can customize that to your liking. There's also a skills section. So when we're pulling in job postings, we're looking in these postings for, I think there's 29,000 plus different knowledge, skills, tools, and technologies. So if you're here for the first time, you're going to be introduced to a screen like this, where it says, or do you have any of these skills? And job seekers can build sort of a skills profile that's specific to them. And it's a combination of all their past experiences and personal experience, like cooking and cleaning and accounting or welding or whatever their experiences are. It all is relevant here. And so you can go through, you can do keyword searches, like Google's got a lot of different technologies and platforms. So you can do a keyword search. There are 29,000. So pick there's tons. Here's a bunch of different photography related skills. There'll be a couple different like cooking skills. Again, everyone's got sort of their unique skill set. And so here we want people to build them out. And it's as simple as saying like, oh yeah, I could talk about that in an interview, or I've had some experience doing that. And you would just click on a button like medical imaging, for example, or medical devices. You would just click it just to indicate that you have some experience here. And what we're going to do is we're going to look in every posting for all of these things. And then we're going to take your personal skill set profile and compare them to every posting and see just to what extent you have the skills that those employers are looking for when you're looking at those positions. So for the purpose of the demonstration today, I went through and clicked a bunch of stuff just to build out an example skill set. there's no limits, there's no minimum, maximum on skills, but it's nice if you can put a few in there. And now when I go to my job feed, so my job board or my job feed, this is where I'm only seeing medical administrative assistant roles, because that was the thing I was interested in. And if you go down to the bottom here, you'll see right now there's going to be about 2 pages of them that I have to log in and see. What's nice about this personalized job account is I can decide, like, obviously click, go to post, read about it, but I can decide then and there that I'm either going to save this job because it's something I'm going to apply for, or I'm going to swipe it away and say not interested. For example, if it's in Mississauga and I live in, Oakville, and I'm not interested in that commute, not interested, not interested, not interested. You never have to look at that post ever again. It is discarded. And so if you haven't logged in for 2 days, you're going to have some jobs here lined up waiting for you to look at. You don't have to redo a keyword search or find where you left off in whatever website you were on. It's all here listed for you, waiting for you to read about it and decide whether or not it's good for you. And so, and again, on any particular one of these, if this one interests you, you hit save job, it also disappears because it's moved to this save job screen over here. And you would just go through and indicate whether or not you're interested, sort of swipe left, swipe right. It's either a fit for me or not. And you would just clear out your job feed. That's what you would tell job seekers to do. Just log in, look at the jobs that are there on your own job board and clear them out, either save them because you want to apply or mark them as not interested, and they'll disappear. Now, if you mark something not interested, but you sort of made a mistake, you can go down here. There's small print. You can click here and it will reload all the not interested jobs, and you can unignore a job that you had previously ignored. But let's get on with the demonstration. So save jobs. This is sort of where we quarterback everything. First of all, you can resort these columns, oldest to newest, company name, alphabetical, skills match, location, whatever you want. Maybe you followed or you saved a job that you're really not going to be commuting to, you have no interest into. You can just unsave it, from this screen. Sorry, unsave. Should be, maybe it's just needs a reset. There it is. Okay. So you can unsave that job and now it's gone. So if it was an accidental thing, you don't have to worry about it. It's here for you.
Question.
Yes.
First of all, this is great. And what if a client wants to focus on 2 or 3 different career paths? Can
Awesome.
can they save multiple profiles in the same account?
Yes.
Or do they need separate email accounts for each separate career?
Awesome. Awesome question. Yes, you can do it all in one account. You would just simply go into, the following settings and just make that reflect here what it is you were looking for. So, for example, you can follow more than one occupation and they can be completely different, like here's legal administrative assistants. You could also potentially be looking for customer service work at the same time, even though it is slightly different. No worries, like working in the banks or retail sales supervisor. You can have a very unique list of jobs that are of interest to you as a person that are really, that you have skills for. So just follow whatever things interest you. And now your job board just turns into that. Instead of all 500 occupation codes coming at you on the job board, you get 4 or 5 or whatever it is that you wanted to follow. Same thing with companies and sectors. It's just a way of filtering out all of the noise so that your client only sees what's relevant to them. So yeah, great question. Just know you can completely customize these following set. You can have as many as you want, as little as you want. If you don't follow anything, your job feed will be empty. And if you follow everything, it will basically have 39,000 postings in there. So, pick wisely. So here is your, save jobs. It is where you quarterback your job search. What I love about this is here's a job on Job Bank. Here's that's another job bank. Here's a job on Indeed. Here's here's a job on Simply Hired. It is wonderful that you can have a tool that will keep all of these leads in one place. I know your clients will still have to have accounts on these sites. They'll still have to apply for wherever the employer put these on. That's the world that we live in, unfortunately, but they can have one place to keep track of it all. If you're watching, TV shows on streaming platforms, it's like, you don't really care if it's on Amazon or Disney or Netflix. You just sort of want to watch the next episode. Same thing with these jobs. You don't care necessarily what platform the employer posted on. You just want to be able to see them, decide if it's a right fit for you, save them, and of course be able to get to them and apply for them. So here's a job on Kijiji.
Question.
Yep.
Yeah. Can you share the sources of these job postings? That's the first one. And the second is, does this eliminate the need to use certain other job sites clients might be using?
Yeah. So there are in Peel Halton, there's like a very specific list of job boards that it's going to pull from. I think there's 35 or 36 that are sort of universal, or let's call them national sort of job boards. And these can be like Indigenous job boards, CareerArc, Career Builder, Eluda, Jabilico, Doctor Careers, Ag Careers, Kijiji, Indeed, Workopolis, like the list goes on and on. There are so many of them, Monster, etc. We are pulling in data from all of those. Okay. The only job board that we're currently missing that I think has a significant number of jobs is LinkedIn. Now, may or may not be exactly what your client needs, but LinkedIn is what we don't have. And the reason why we don't is because they have a sign-in feature where you have to sign in to sort of view the information. And so it's not sort of publicly posted in the way that the other sites are. So to answer your second question about, do clients need to go to these other sites? I don't think they do, except for LinkedIn. So I wish we had a partnership with LinkedIn and we could bring them in, and maybe one day we will. But right now, I think we have all the jobs covered. There's even some employers that don't post publicly, like police services, sometimes schools, they just expect people to go to their website to find them. We will even pull posts down from employer career pages in cases where we're not getting them from anywhere else. So, and in some cases, Employment Ontario providers have their own job board. We can be pulling those postings in from employment service providers. There's some programming. It's, about $250, but it will create an automatic, every hour pulling in new postings from your site, which makes the entire community using this tool find jobs on your site and bring them to you. So if it's of interest, just talk to Shalini and the team at Peel Halton, and let's make sure your Employment Ontario office's job board is connected to the tools here, so we can get people to your doorstep, when they're the right fit. Hopefully that answers the questions. We really want this to be sort of the Trivago of jobs, where sort of you get to sort of see everything in one place. You'll know when you, for example, when you're on our job board, and by the way, the MyHub account comes right over with you on the job board. You're instantly getting a skills match badge on jobs that you have a high skills match for based on your personal skill set that you've developed. But over here, you'll see we only give you a snippet of the job. And it's because we do not want to impersonate the original job board source. We're just trying to get people to it, sort of the Google jobs, if you will. People search for a keyword like welder, for example. They are interested in this post and they go here on the original site where the employer posted to apply and do the application. We do not want to have the employers post with us. We do not want to steer anybody away from the services that they want to use. So hopefully you'll find it's very collaborative, and it really is sort of filling a gap out there. So you can do your job search from this site and pretty much cover almost every job board. There might be an FAQ on here, maybe not. Some sites will publish which websites they get the data from, but if you really want to know whether or not a certain website is on, you can just always ask, and we're happy to check it out. And And if we need to, we might just add it. So I'm certainly interested in adding all of the regional, national, provincial, job boards. It's something we would do at no cost, but any sort of local site, that we want to include in the mix, there's just, a developer charge to get all that done. So it's all cost recovery. So I think we were just at sort of the save jobs. I'm just going to move my windows around here. So we were at the save jobs screen. A couple things here. Your clients can indicate where they're at in the job search process. And, there's no policing on this, but basically, if it's interested, it means they saved the job, which meant they were probably going to be writing a resume for it. If they were rejected, they found out maybe after an interview that they were unsuccessful. That's fine. There's a no response. So maybe they just, after a while, they're just going to chalk it up to no response. They just didn't hear one way or the other. There's an interviewing option here, again, for people, and there's an applied option, waiting to find out. And then there's an I got hired. And if you get hired, we actually ask people, okay, we've pre-filled in the information that was from the posting that they got hired on. Of course, there's always a chance that you need to change the job title because the posting may have had other information in it, or it may have changed slightly when they got hired. But we will keep track of this, and the person can update their profile with this new information. Maybe it was a part-time job or a full-time job, but it can update the profile here. And then there's a little congratulatory message if you were to do this. So it's hopefully a great tool. Again, it doesn't replace the need to have user accounts on all these sites to actually apply for these jobs, but it will make job search easier. If you were already using the job board tool, you already know it's all these jobs in one place. It deduplicates double job postings. So employers will post in more than one place just to ensure that they get good reach. That's common. We are filtering out all of that. So you don't have to look at the same job twice. Our system gets rid of those, and you can look simultaneously across all job boards except LinkedIn to see sort of these opportunities. So you don't have to give a long one pager to your clients on like all the different job boards that they're now expected to go and look. You can literally just have them be looking on the workforce board site here. So hopefully that's clear as mud. There's also a skills match here, by the way. You can click here on one of these postings and just see what it was that the person's skill set matched to. There's a little bug in this right now that we got to fix, but essentially if the employer was looking for 10 or 15 things in the posting that we pulled keywords out from, so that could be like organized, hardworking, Microsoft Office, patient registration, like whatever those keywords were, there was 29,000. I was like typing photography and showing you them, whatever those are in the posting we pull out. And then you can constantly be refining these skills in your post, like in your personal skill set, by comparing them to every job. So there's just a bug here, but basically, yeah, there would be a section like this where there's a gap and it's like, oh yeah, I know how to use a telephone. I'm just going to check that. I just never thought to check that in my skill set, but I'm going to check that. And now I have that, sort of more fully covered. So clients can sort of continually refine their skills match and their skill set over time. They don't have to get it all right, on day one. So but now you've got, and if one of your clients are on EI and they occasionally need to produce a record of all the places they're looking for work, this screenshot, is perfect. Just hit Control P or whatever. You can, sorry, I might have to change the portrait here, but yeah, I think you can like hide some settings here, and now you've got a printout of some of this stuff. I think we have to change the orientation to lengthwise, but you've got something here as a bit of a record, or just take a screenshot with a screen snipping tool and paste it into Word. So anyways, I'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much for the 50 minutes you've given me to talk about the exciting new tools. Again, we had the Labor Market Insights Report, live data at your fingertips up to the minute, the hour in which you hit update report, because it will be pulling in June data like every hour in the system. And then, of course, the MyHub for job seekers account, which is going to make searching for work opportunities a little bit easier for your clients. Make it more personalized. They don't have to go through 39,000 postings. They don't have to look at any posting twice. They don't have to remember where they left off. They can just log in, go to their job feed, and just indicate that they're either going to save the job or not interested. And every day they log in and just clean out the job feed. And if they haven't logged in for 2 or 3 days, those jobs will be waiting there for them. And they can go in at that time and go through them again. So the job feed is just going to constantly be putting new jobs in there that match sort of the client's interest. And that's all controlled by the following settings. Oh, I forgot to mention the resume builder. If we got a couple minutes here, I'll show you what we can do on the resume builder front. If your clients already have a resume, don't worry about this. They're great. If your client has a very old resume or is not used to the North American resume, or just needs an update or a refresh on some of their information, this tool is wonderful. And it's very easy to use. And I'm going to actually build a resume from scratch in a few minutes, just to give you a sense of how it might work. So I'm going to name it first of all. And what's great about this tool is you put information in the boxes if you want it to show on your resume. So if you don't want it to show on your resume, just leave the box empty, you know. So if you don't want your street address, don't want your city, you know, etc., like you don't have to. And if you do want it to show up, you would put it in there. Okay. Here's a summary. People often put like a persuasive paragraph. You know what? If you don't like the word summary, you can edit the heading here. You can call it professional summary. You can call it objective. You can, you know, whatever you want this to be, you can rename this section. If you don't want it, skip it. Experience. Some people like to rename this work experience. They want to add a position like welder, ABC welding. Yep.
Is the resume builder ATS friendly?
Yeah, that's why it was designed. Yeah, it was meant to be very friendly to those systems. So I think you'll be very happy with it. When you start building in your experience, it will say, do you want to add job duties from the NOC code? Doesn't mean that they're perfect for you, but it will fill in the information. And of course, what you can do, what you can do is you can add more, or you can delete anything, you know, maybe there's like a word or words you don't want in there, you just delete it. So it just gives you a starting point on those. And again,
Another
it
question.
will, yeah,
Sorry.
ask away.
Is there a tutorial for resume building on site?
Well, it's there's this recording, which is a little bit helpful maybe, but I personally am not qualified to tell people what to put in their resume. I think that's probably best for service providers, but this is a tool that will make filling in the boxes a lot easier for you. So I hope you consider potentially using it. And again, if you don't want to put in the information, just leave it blank. If you don't want to put in the end year, the end month, you know, just leave it blank and it will be left out. It's going to just constantly say, do you want to import job duties? Yes, I do. You can drag and reorder these, so you can put the one ahead of the other. So if you put it in out of order, it's no big deal. You can also drag and reorder sections of the resume over here. When you get to skills, it will say, do you want to import from your skill profile? So, you know, the candidate can pick, or the clients. Yeah,
the resume builder is a hit. Is it possible to create a functional or hybrid resume on the builder?
You could if you're good. There's and I say it sort of cheekily. There's something called a custom section here, which will give you sort of paragraph control. So that's where you could write sort of a more custom paragraph to a functional resume if you want. And then you would just, you'd put that in, call it whatever, heading section you want, and then you could drag that up to the top, right? And then you could, in theory, you could remove the work experience section just by going here and saying delete section. Okay. So, I mean, you could. It's certainly, more oriented towards a chronological resume. It's not going to do everything. Like you may still want to rely on some of the templates you're using, but for people who need a quick update and want to go through this, this is going to be very helpful for them. They can, again, just leave whatever fields they want blank. If it's required, the system will tell you. Okay. But for the most part, it's not required. And you can preview. I built this in like 5-6 minutes. I've got a fairly lengthy resume already. You can add these sections like references. You can have them show as available upon request, if you want, or you can individually, of course, put in your put in the references that you were going to use, recommend contact info, obviously, but now it's going to put that in there. You can put page breaks. Yeah, just ask away, no problem.
Sure. How does one view the resume templates?
Yeah, so in this, there's a template section here. There are 9 different templates. So when you get tired of one, you can pick between any one of them. I'll show you on a more complete resume what this might look like. I think I was making this one. You can have an unlimited number of resumes in here, but just know you can easily switch between any of these templates just by picking a different option here. So it should be fairly easy. So if you're one of those awesome people who tend to make a lot of the resumes yourself for your clients, you could actually make them the same resume, PDF, and save 3 different versions of it on your computer, send all 3 to your client and say, is there a style you prefer, and then they've got some choice there. There's also settings here. You can force page breaks after sections. So if you're not happy with the wrapping, you can say force references onto its own page, which is very common. You can change the font size, small, medium, large, to fill white space on the page. You can even change the spacing between sections. And so all of that will help you get sort of a more perfectly fitted resume onto, 2 pages or whatever it is you're trying to do. So here it happened to be on 2 pages, but if I wasn't happy, I could do that, So great little tool, free, of course, no charge, all available to clients if they want in the system. So yeah. And then they have this, they can create an unlimited number of them. I put in here new resume /ABC company. So if they want to customize the resume for every single job opportunity, there's a duplicate button. So once they've created the first one, they can hit duplicate and then just go in and rename that one and then customize that a little bit more to that company or to that role, if they have a customer service resume or they, et cetera. We're working on a cover letter generator as well. So that will hopefully pair with this pretty well. So I thought I was going to be done after the 50-minute mark, but I've now used 8 additional minutes on the resume builder, which seemed to capture a lot of people's interest. It's a great tool. I hope you enjoy using it. It's not perfect. It's not going to be it's not going to replace every tool in your toolbox, but it's going to do a great job for what you need it to do. It's going to make, like just the fact that it brings in the knock duties, it brings in the skills, it allows you to reorder the resume, page breaks, font sizes. It's a great, robust tool. I'm from Windsor. We've been using it with the City of Windsor clients for a long time now, and they're pretty happy with it. So hopefully you get a chance to use it and try it out for yourself.
And last question, I think. Can the resumes be printed in Word rather than PDF?
Well, you could. So Word is not as it's pretty available, but no, it generates in a PDF. But for those people who can, like, you can save it in PDF and then convert it to Word pretty easily. Like, the technology exists, but like those, to make it in like the proprietary program, like PDF is like that universal document, so that's what it is. And if I know it's like you want to edit it and change it, but you know what, we want the edited and changed version in the system so the client can constantly go back to it and keep it up to date. So if you start editing and changing it outside the system, then the client's got to then keep it somewhere else. So I know half a dozen, one or another, but we chose PDF. It's a universal file format. But certainly there's nothing that stops you from downloading the PDF and converting it to any file format you want, including Word, through Adobe. I think even Word opens PDF documents now. So if you just try opening the PDF in Word, it probably convert it for you. So that's that. We've got a way to keep track of job leads across dozens and dozens of websites, a way to see no job more than once, and a way to sort of constantly resume search, keep it very efficient, get led to whatever website the employer posted on, and a way to sort of manage and keep different variations of the same resume all in one place. And hopefully the tool will be available for many, many years, for generations to come, and for the client's entire career. They can always come back and use this either as an active job seeker in worst case scenario, or as a passive job seeker in case they ever want to upgrade or continue to apply for jobs later on in life. So we'll leave it at that. It is 2:00. Is there a risk that this won't be available? Well, I mean, I feel like there's always a risk that the government will change or the government will do something. But local boards have been around for 25 years. I feel like it's a great partner in the work, and hopefully with everyone's advocacy, that workforce boards will be around for a very long time. And I know we, as workforce boards, we want these tools to exist because for us, we're interested in the data collection and the dissemination, of course, and the data reporting and using it in sort of local research projects. So for us to understand barriers for job search and what job seekers are interested in, like in aggregate, we're very interested in like data trends and data patterns and the tools, but the tools can also be very practical. They can be practical for you as employment service professionals. They can be practical for SSMs if they want, et cetera. Like they're great applications for people eligible for your service and people ineligible for your service. International students, we know how many of them need help. Like these are great tools for people to use. They're no charge and available, and it's run by a great organization. So let's hope they'll be around for a very, very long time. So yeah, if we are working on service provider accounts. So I'm not going to get into it today in great detail, but we know that it would be nice if service providers could see their clients in the system, work with their clients. So we are continuing to work in that direction where something like that could be possible. So we have a sort of a starter system ready to go. And we are sort of looking for maybe a group that might be interested in piloting it. But in exchange for that, we certainly want good feedback and on how it works and what could be better, et cetera. Because one day, let's say in 6 months from now, we're going to launch them and make them more widely available. And I think it'll be a great tool. So if there's anyone out there interested in sort of being a part of a pilot, maybe it's a small organization, a couple staff, we could get people trained and going on it. It'd be a lot of fun.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your questions. Thank you, Justin. On behalf of myself and our speaker, Justin, and the entire team at the Peel Halton Workforce Development Group, thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure spending this last hour with you. Have a great day. And I'm going to share with you, or we're going to share with you the recording of this session, so you can revisit it or share it with your clients. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd love to answer all your questions and concerns. Thank you.